People who have replaced telescopes worldwide are sharing images or using raw data to generate new insights. The amazing James Webb Space Telescope shocked astronomers worldwide with its astounding detail when it released its first-ever historical image of the universe a year ago. However, what it has discovered most recently is a terrifying image of the universe that we have never seen before. What has the James Webb Space Telescope discovered so far? Does it provide scientists more questions than answers? Come learn how the James Webb Space Telescope obtained the scariest image ever seen in human history. Just 1 month after the first images were made public, the Hubble Space Telescope's successor revealed new details about star formation, galaxy mergers, and the early cosmos. The images were astounding, showing the cosmos in astounding clarity. Since then, the rate of discoveries has increased dramatically, giving scientists access to a vast amount of data. Cosmic tarantulas, record-breaking space smoke, stars on the cusp of supernova explosions, and other amazing celestial objects have all been observed by the James Webb Space Telescope. Thanks to the state-of-the-art equipment of this satellite observatory, we can now see deeper into space than ever before, providing us with hitherto undiscovered information about the universe. With the help of these sometimes incredibly precise photographs, astronomy has entered a new era. A photo of a small star-forming region in the Rho-Ophiuchi cloud complex was released by NASA to mark the first year of the James Webb Space Telescope's operation. The image displays jets shooting from newly formed stars as colorful cosmic dust clouds collide. The red dust is made of molecular hydrogen, and some stars have shadows produced by a circumstellar disk, indicating that planet formation may have occurred in the distant past. NASA claims that despite the image appearing to depict cosmic mayhem, this stellar nursery is small and serene in comparison to others. It's also the closest star-forming region to Earth, with many of the young stars in this vicinity being as big as our Sun or smaller. The primary observatory camera, the Webb Space Telescope's near-infrared camera, took this image simultaneously capturing cosmic images in 2 different infrared spectrums. In addition, the Space Telescope has advanced our understanding of exoplanets, or planets around stars other than our Sun. James Webb excels at observing massive, distant galaxies. In early 2023, the satellite observatory found LHS 475b, its first exoplanet. The planet has a diameter similar to Earth's and is located 41 light-years away. NASA claims that James Webb is the only telescope in use that can categorize the atmosphere of Earth-sized exoplanets. The results showed how accurate the telescope was, according to the scientists leading the discovery team, and rocky exoplanets are now a new area of research for astronomers to investigate. Subsequently, the James Webb Telescope discovered evidence of extinct galaxies that shouldn't have existed theoretically. 6 massive ancient galaxies known as universe breakers, discovered by Swinburne University's EVO Lab and his international team of astronomers, have the power to fundamentally alter our understanding of space. The conclusions of the researchers earlier this year suggest that these huge galaxies may have formed 500 to 700 million years after the Big Bang. These equipment allowed the infrared sensors on the telescope to detect them. We can see into the past, approximately 13.5 billion years, when galaxies and stars were far older. Scientists are perplexed by the universe breaker's immense size. Galaxies in the early cosmos ought to have been between 10 and 100 times smaller. These 6 objects might be billions of times heavier than the Sun, according to their calculations. One galaxy's worth of stars could weigh 100 billion times as much as the Sun. Does the very notion of attempting to comprehend something so vast make you queasy? Some monsters mature significantly faster than others, even though most galaxies during this time are extremely small and are only very modestly expanding. What would trigger this and how it would work are unknown. Joel Leha, an assistant professor of astronomy and astrophysics at Penn State University and a co-author of the paper, acknowledged his surprise at the identification of a new class of objects created at the Big Bang. Many of our preconceived notions about the status of science are called into question by the discovery that the formation of massive galaxies began at the very beginning of the universe's history. Our finding appears to be so unusual that it presents problems for the scientific community. It calls into question the whole picture of how galaxies came to be in the early universe. The things are way bigger than anyone anticipated. Since they are still forming, all of the galaxies in the range are regarded as newborns. Nevertheless, galaxies as old as our own have been discovered in the early universe, which was once believed to be its beginning. Scientists are left scratching their heads since spectrometry, which breaks down light into its constituent wavelengths to permit more precise distance measurements, is still needed to validate the results. Only a small number of recently discovered objects have confirmed mass and distance. If the evidence is correct, the rate and efficiency of galaxy formation had to have been significantly higher than now believed. It is encouraging that spectra supported the conclusions drawn from the images by our regular operating systems. Scientists have been trying to figure out the cosmic history for years. Still, the secret might be in a single piece of technology. Scientists have always been fascinated by observations of space and time. Therefore, it is not unexpected that contradicting information obtained through telescopes could cause confusion. Cosmologist Dr. Katie Mack has decided to share her thoughts on the subject at this time. She brought up the fact that the JWST has been revealing evidence of galaxies that appear to have begun or matured considerably earlier than what scientists had predicted from their models in order to explain how this might be happening. But don't worry. Mack noted that the telescope is taking quite grainy pictures of galaxies that are more than 13 billion light-years away. The dates cosmologists have been receiving from the telescope suggest that there may not even have been enough time after the Big Bang for these massive galaxies to emerge. Many in the field were worried that this might call into question a number of ideas, such as dark matter and the Big Bang, but more research into the data is needed to be certain. The telescope records amazing views of nearby nebulae, but for distant galaxies, the images are blurry tiny specks. The explanation is that different portions of the light spectrum have different effects on different hues. There are two methods in which the Webb telescope may identify light coming from a source. It could make use of a spectrum by distributing light using a spectrograph, a device that functions somewhat like a prism in measuring the luminosity of each hue. It can also employ filters that obstruct all colors save for a specific range. By comparing this data with spectra expected for galaxies with similar properties, they may then determine the galaxy's redshift. The precise moment in cosmic history that we are observing it is what this redshift tells us. Comparisons of model spectra reveal that many galaxies contain an excess of stars or stars that were too young when they would have existed. There are several reasons why this could be the case. The photometric readings could have been erroneous due to calibration issues with the telescope. Alternately, it's possible that they were observing incredibly small regions of the sky or a cluster of galaxies that is not typical of the sky. A different argument could be that galaxy spectra models are optimized for nearby galaxies and do not perform well for distant galaxies. On the other hand, if those galaxies are in fact really huge and previous estimates were off, cosmologists would have the exciting prospect of having to completely rethink cosmic development. Don't you think so? However, this is by no means the only field in which scientists have failed. Experts are bewildered by planets that are genuinely too big to exist, despite advancements in technology. None more so than the fact that the discovery of a planet thought to be too huge for its sun has forced astronomers to re-evaluate their models and our knowledge of planet formation and solar system architecture as a whole. Penn State researchers have discovered a planet that is 13 times larger than Earth. According to legend, this planet is part of a planetary system that revolves around the ultra-cool star LHS 3154, which has a mass 9 times that of our Sun. A news release claims that the dwarf star's mass ratio is 100 times greater than Earth's mass ratio to the Sun. Until they recently seen it for themselves, scientists did not think that kind of thing was possible. However, recent data indicates that the largest planet in our solar system is actually circling an extremely cool dwarf star, one of the smallest and coolest stars in the cosmos. This discovery just serves to further highlight how little we currently know about the universe. It seems surprising that a planet with this mass would orbit a star with such a low mass. It's possible that enormous clouds of gas and dust gave birth to these stars. The gas and dust that are still present in the material disk surrounding the young star may eventually become planets. It is not expected that the planet-forming disks around the low-mass star LHS 3154 will contain enough solid mass after this to support this planet. But since it does exist, scientists now need to re-evaluate our assumptions about how stars and planets form. To compare the star to a campfire would be a nice simile. You have to go closer to the fire when its temperature drops in order to keep your body temperature constant. The same is true with planets. Planets must orbit stars with lower temperatures if they are to be hot enough to host liquid water. When a planet orbits an incredibly cold star closely enough, we may see the planet's pull on the star's spectrum or light, which results in a little change in the star's hue. Conversely, raise your gaze to the heavens. The James Webb Space Telescope has captured a stunning new image of the ice giant Uranus that shows almost all of its dust rings, which were previously difficult to photograph. Regarding the dimmer rings, which Voyager 2 and W have been the only ones to observe. Keck Observatory on Mauna Kea in Hawaii. The image is an amazing display of the telescope's sensitivity thus far. There are 13 known rings on Uranus, which is 1.2 billion miles from the Sun. 11 of these rings can be seen in this stunning new image taken by the Webb Space Telescope. This planet has a strange side tilt that causes its rings to seem vertical, in contrast to Saturn's horizontal rings. The two outer rings were harder to see and capture photos of due to their dusty composition. Therefore, they were not detected until the Voyager 2 spacecraft flew past in 1986. Before then, the 9 primary rings were already well known. 2 additional, fainter outer rings were discovered in 2007 by the NASA Hubble Space Telescope. These rings are not apparent in the Webb images. Scientists believe Webb has a chance to catch them. The ring system of a planet can reveal important details about the planet's creation. Given Uranus's slanted orbit and lack of internal heat, any knowledge about its past would be much appreciated. Uranus is a very unusual planet. Scientists are expecting the telescope can provide insight into Uranus's strange atmospheric composition, given it is a large gas-based planet. We can study Neptune and Uranus through a completely new lens thanks to the JWST, as no other telescope of this size has ever been able to see infrared light. Hubble and other visible light-based telescopes cannot see infrared wavelengths. However, infrared imaging can highlight features and depths that were previously hidden. Furthermore, the James Webb Space Telescope has captured amazing video of a dying star. The fading star image is one of the first perfectly documented incidents of its kind, due to JWST's deployment in late 2021. The telescope's infrared lens caught images of the massive dying star Wolf-Rayet 124 as it expelled dust and gas into space. This celestial event is thought to be taking place 15,000 light-years away from Earth. Uncertain of its meaning? About 5.8 trillion miles separate us. The image, released exclusively by NASA, displays a brilliant purple remnant of the star's outer layer, which was once a cloud of gas and dust that caused the star to flare. This magnificent image is an enhancement over the one taken in 2015, just prior to the JWST's launch by the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble Space Telescope captured images of the star in transition. However, due to the limitations of our technology, the star appeared more like a burning ball. But the destruction brought about by Wolf-Rayet 124 is now plainly apparent. Situated in the constellation Sagittarius, the burst star is thought to be 30 times larger than our Sun. NASA claims that it has also released enough gas and dust to temporarily cover 10 suns. This amazing new image centers around a star. The light from that star has been traveling across space for the last 15,000 years. It will take 15,000 light-years to get to the detectors on the telescope. Dust is what surrounds the main star that seems to be dust. As a result, as the picture shows, when a star dies, its outer layers and material are released into space. This dust will spread out into space and form planets. This is actually how we got to this position. Scientists surmise that a star undergoing material loss is on the verge of exploding, a scenario commonly referred to as going supernova. 5 planets will be visible from Earth, even though the collapse of Wolf-Rayet 124 will be imperceptible to the naked eye. The James Webb Telescope unsettlingly photographed the face of a real creature in space. The JWST observed the unsettling ghostly being as it lurked in space. It's actually not some enormous extraterrestrial. Rather, it's a galaxy that creates hundreds of new stars a year. The galaxy, known as Aztec 3, was first detected by a ground-based telescope over 10 years ago. But when the more advanced Hubble Space Telescope looked at it, it vanished. The The long-lost Schrödinger's galaxy has finally triumphantly returned thanks to the James Webb Space Telescope. In an artist's representation, the galaxy Aztec 3 appears to be screaming into a chasm, giving the impression that it has 2 eyes and a gaping mouth. Its discovery changes our understanding of the early universe and suggests that massive star nurseries may have existed 3 to 10 times more frequently than previously thought. The galaxy under observation has a redshift of about 6, putting it about 900 million years after the Big Bang, based on the team's estimations. This is a genuine creature. Despite appearances to the contrary, the tiny blob is actually responsible for the formation of hundreds of stars per year. We are particularly excited by the extremely sensitive photos that our newest telescope is able to capture, making even the most dramatic objects barely visible. Dust absorbs most starlight and re-emits it at longer, redder wavelengths, which may be how many galaxies are presenting themselves to us. Until now, dusty galaxies have proven difficult to image. Until now, the Hubble Space Telescope's optical lens had been our only tool for studying galaxies in the early cosmos. We only see the clean, dust-free galaxies. Thus, our understanding of galaxy evolution is distorted. But the NASA James Webb Space Telescope can identify infrared features that the Hubble Space Telescope cannot. We will be able to investigate the optical and infrared properties of this hitherto undiscovered galaxy cluster because to JWST's sensitivity, which allows it to see through even the thickest dust veils and stare into the farthest reaches of the universe. The Cosmos Webb project intends to map up to 1 million galaxies from a region of the sky the size of 3 full moons in an attempt to investigate the early aspects of the universe. Though the observatory is best known for its ability to see as far into space as possible, NASA has also used its advanced sensors to find things right here in the United States. Scientists are able to investigate more ephemeral phenomena such as dust storms, weather patterns, and seasonal shifts by using the comprehensive photos of Mars that Webb captured the previous year. However, because the equipment on board are being blinded by Mars's infrared radiation, the red planet presents a challenge to the powerful space telescope. Astronomers had to use specialist data analysis techniques and very short exposure times to make up for the exceptionally brilliant conditions. The scientist who made these discoveries said they will examine the imaging and spectroscopic data to seek for methane and hydrogen chloride, 2 trace gases, in the Martian atmosphere and to discover more about the regional differences on the planet. All of these new findings serve as more evidence of the James Webb Space Telescope's amazing potential. We appreciate you seeing this week's Voyager episode. Click the video on your screen to view more incredible space-related videos while you're still here.